Daniel, what's up? Ruiz, what's up? Welcome. Welcome. We are going to finish this stump with boiled linseed oil and beeswax. So I leveled it the rest of the way today, and so we're going to do that. How you guys doing? See, even when I poured it in here, I don't like how that it turned into a paste, and I've warmed it up all the way. Thinned the mess out of it. It's too much beeswax in the mixture, I think. But it's working though. Yeah, we're finishing this stump surface with what used to be liquid and now is a solid. So I'm gonna have to take one of my other bottles that's not solidified and use one of those too. Keeping it warm is tricky, man. Every time it cools off just a little bit, it solidifies. It's that freezing temperature of the beeswax, I think, is what causes the problem. Very, very high freezing temperature. It's just liquid enough to spread it on, but you see how it's going on, kind of like a paste right now. It's the trickiest finish material I've ever used. I've never had stuff that froze so easily on me, even when mixed with other oils. I mixed it with linseed oil, and I even mixed it with denatured alcohol. So it's been thinned. It just freezes really quickly. That's exactly what happened last time. I think some of y'all were probably watching. I'm going to tell y'all a story today, though, because I think I need to tell you if I've been stressed out a little bit last couple. I mean, I'm going to make excuses for my stressedness. So, true story, dudes. I go for a run every day. My elliptical broke, so I'm back to running every day. And I was out there running. I had done about 5 miles. I was on the back end of about a 5-mile run. It was one of my longer runs. I haven't been up to that distance in a while. So I was really happy. I was riding high, man. Just on my phone, looking at stuff. Welcome, everybody. Hey, Teswell Jacobs, welcome to the chat. Grace, hi, welcome, Grace. Yeah, so I was on this run. I was at about 5 miles, and I was just on my phone. I passed by, and I swear I hear this guy tell his dog like to get me. I hear him say get him, but I just can't believe that this man would sick his dog on me, right? But then I come around the corner, and I know this dog pretty well. I've seen the dog. It's a pretty mean-looking little dog, but I see so many dogs when I'm running that dogs don't really scare me anymore. All you do is buck at them once usually, and they back off. Most dogs know that a human is much bigger than them, and they're not going to go after you, at least not by themselves. So I was running, and I heard the guy say, "Get him, get him." And I took my earpiece out, and I thought maybe he was trying to get my attention at first. I gave him the benefit of the doubt. Took my earpiece out, and I said, "Yeah, sir, you know, you need my attention, or you want to tell me something?" And he's like, "Nah." And so I put my earpiece back in and keep doing circles. Now this gentleman lives not even 200 yards from my house, so maybe he doesn't recognize me, but I see him every day. And he's passed by me when I was on runs in his car. But then I came by around the other side, and I clearly heard him say to the dog, "Get him," while looking and pointing at me. So at that point, I was like, oh, I mean, I'm not scared of the dog at all, because I know the dog is not going to bite me. I see the dog every day. But I take my earpiece out, and I say to the guy, I said, you're not sicking your dog on me, are you? And the guy said something like, he didn't even respond to me. He just looked at me, and he told the dog to get me. And this was about the third time in a row here he told him, and he looked at me, and he looked menacing at the dog. The dog looked maybe scared of him. So the dog then breaks out, like, towards me, but it just runs into my leg. It doesn't bite me. It doesn't try to attack me in any way. It just runs into my leg, bounces, and then I looked at the guy and said, the dog's not going to bite me, man. He knows me, you know? And then that's basically the story, man. This man said some stuff. I don't think I wanted to hear what he said after that. So I kept my run going. Wasn't worried about the dog. But chime in the chat if you've ever had a human being sick their dog on you. It seems like it's not very common to me. I as a runner, I think it may have happened one other time when I was running through this neighborhood in Central Virginia. But I can't prove that. And this time, it was a definite. It was a certainty. He definitely sicked his dog on me. So, comments in the chat. Anybody have any thoughts on that? Your thoughts? Yeah, I'm not even worried about the dog. Like I said, it's the human being that bothers me, you know? So, hey, Demon Duo, welcome to the chat. Welcome, Demon Duo. Ruiz and Gandara, I just want to welcome my friends of the program. Ruiz, Gandara, Dane Gandara, anyone else who's in here that's friend of the chat. I want to shout out Heather, what Heather does for my live stream. So nobody's ever had that happen to them, huh? It's already looking much better here on this surface. You see how it just kind of coats? Seems to be sinking in too. I'm going to have to switch up to another bottle because this is almost solidified now. And when you finish, you want to finish both surfaces too. So it's important to do both surfaces. Actually, a heat gun would probably work on this to melt that solidified wax down, and then you can spread it more. But when you're working wood and stuff, heat changes the hydrodynamic properties of the wood, so it may make it warp, etc. So I love my crew. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. I had to tell you that story because obviously that's been stressing me out that a neighbor would do that. And it wasn't my imagination. I thought I was just imagining things, you know. But nah, it happened. Some of these little burn marks from the router. Work those a little bit. We have 9 dogs here, so I'm not a person who's really scared of dogs, and I wasn't scared of dogs before that. I've had dogs, and I've had some menacing dogs as well. Like my dog was pretty scary looking. My neighbor ran inside her house when she saw it, and my neighbor threw a fit about it. But I never would dare sick the dog on her. It was complete circumstance, and he was just a baby. He was a husky, had a wolfy look to him. You know, just coincidence that that happened to go like that. Yeah, this is a combination of beeswax and boiled linseed oil, and probably a little bit of tongue oil because it came out of that bottle. See what's going on in the chat. Whoa, a lot going on. Oh yeah, we got rogue dogs. This is the country, but Mehmed, welcome back, Mehmed from Indonesia, right? Mehmed checked out my other videos. Appreciate him. Thanks, Mehmed. Appreciate you. Yeah, yeah, man. I'm in a spot where I can't really call the cops down here. If I call the cops, I think it's going to end up worse for me, man. It's one of those deals. Oh, I'm glad. Tez Will, shout out. Welcome to the Dad's Workshop. Make sure you subscribe, like, and subscribe. Join the Discord. That dust from earlier is actually bothering my breathing passages. I did a lot of, routing and then sanding and grinding. So, yeah, appreciate everybody. Tez Will, my new friend of the show, Mehmed. Oops. Well, I didn't delete somebody's comment. Welcome, everybody. Appreciate everybody being here. Welcome to Dad's Workshop. See, this is what I did. You see that? It caked together just like that. So I'm going to have to, like, remelt this to get it back to where I can use it. Otherwise, I have to apply it like a bar. See? But it does work even solid. It wipes in, and it's a very thick coating. So you want it to get into the grain. That's why you add the solvent, whether it's denatured alcohol, mineral spirits. There's some more benign ones like citrus solvent. But definitely, yeah. And also sand to open the grain up, so that when you put your treatment on, whatever it is, the grain accepts it. Very important. I finished the ladder today, and I'll show you all that a little bit later in the live. It's been glued up and doweled. If you watched my short, shout out to all my regulars who check out my shorts. Shout out to everybody in the Discord. Appreciate everybody. Let's flip this thing over. This side is not quite the same level. This is the side that was routed. You can kind of see. I have to treat both sides though. That's the way that woodwork is. You have to, what you do to one side, you want to do to the other. because the wood is going to react when you put treatment on it. So it'll cup or curd, and so you got to add whatever you do to one side to the other. So I'm going to go get some liquefied stuff. I'm going to pour it. I don't know if I'm going to pour it in this bucket. I might just take it over here hot. Appreciate you, Reeds. Massage it with my hand, ditch the cloth. Well, it has denatured alcohol. Who told me to do that? Oh, Daniel? Yeah, that's the only reason I don't want to just like, but I already have, so what am I telling you that for? I'm being a contrarian. Yeah, I do like using my hand. Also, there are some sharp edges on here. I might end up with a splinter, but definitely, probably what I'll do. Another trick is to bring the grain out is to go over it with the solvent, right? So take your mineral spirits and actually put it on the wood first, open the grain up, and then put your oils on there. Well, that's funny. You say it looks like honey. It is beeswax, so it is a bee product, you know. See how quickly it solidifies? Look at it. It freezes right in front of your eyes. And then it turns to this pasty stuff. So this is going to have to be sanded and done again, but that's not too bad, right? That's a little bit better results than what I was getting before. And when you have a stump cookie like this, it absorbs a lot of oil because the grain is, you have open grain everywhere. So it tends to like use a lot of treatment. See, it freezes on contact. See that? That's one problem here. So I use too much beeswax. I'd say probably I would reduce my beeswax content. And I might get my heat gun out here to help break this down. But like Daniel says, I could probably use my hand and get it into the grain that way. Definitely is more like applying wax. I mean, with the linseed oil in there, linseed oil is like liquid by default. So I gotta believe it's the beeswax that's doing the solidifying. I might actually go get my heat gun. My day's been good, Ruiz. You know, obviously, when I go for my run in the morning, I'm worried about old boy and the dog. Not the dog so much as the dude. But you know, because now I have a neighbor that's apparently hostile. So that's a stress factor. But in general, today was great, man. I got the ladder done. I made it short. Successful day, you know. I do like the way this stuff makes the wood look, though. So thank you for asking. I always appreciate being asked how I'm doing. Not dry. Robert, not welcome, Robert G, friend of the program. Appreciate you, Robert. This has not been drying at all. It actually is so. It's so. I think the beeswax content, to say something I've said a bunch of times already. I know you just got here. The beeswax content is high enough that it freezes at room temperature. So I'm struggling with that. I mean, it's making a really good, thick coating, but getting into the grain is a little tricky with it because it's too thick. It's not thinned out enough, and I used denatured alcohol and I boiled it. I did all kinds of stuff, man. But I think just the beeswax content was too high. Oh, you're talking. See, let me ask you again, Robert G. When you say how long has that been drying, are you talking about the tree cookie? Are we talking about the tree, the wood? Yeah, I'm gonna get a heat gun here in a second. Hey. No, it's over here. It's hitting the table. All right. Could you do me a favor before you go? In the house, with the. Working on getting a heat gun here. Oh, fumble fingers. Oh, I hope I'm not hitting the microphone. Let me move the microphone up to like right here. There, that's better. Hopefully I'm not too loud. Yeah, Robert, so the wood has been, this stump I cut, I mean, I didn't cut this tree down, but I took this and used a chainsaw and cleaned it up about 2 years ago. So this has been drying plenty long. Here in Virginia, 1 summer is enough to dry wood. And I know I did a lot of, I have a wood moisture meter and I would test wood out and cut my own and dried my own wood. So yeah, this wood has been drying about 2 years, and so it's definitely ready. My son actually planed and leveled the top of it, like sanded the top of it. So he did this side here, which he did a really good job on. I mean, you can see it's nice and flat, and he used only a planer. And look at that. See, it needs some leveling. Look at that. Thanks.
You sound way better, by the way.
Oh, good.
Way more. Hi, Louise.
Plug this in for me. Sorry. That's too much. See how stubborn it is? Heat gun ASMR, that's right, for the win. Speaking of for the win, who you got tonight, man? Who you got in this Carolina and San Diego State? I don't think I have mineral oil around. Yeah, I should definitely bank on the ASMR thing. Uh, I don't know, man. Did we talk about this yesterday? If I said I thought San Diego State, I changed my mind. I feel like UNC. I'm gonna Benedict on it, man, and say UNC. I just don't feel, and I don't think UNC is super good, man. I just feel like the teams in the West just they don't stack up to the teams in the East. I looked at San Diego State's games played out of conference. I mean, nothing was like super impressive that they did, like out of conference. Um, so I'm like kind of on UNC as much as I don't think they deserve to make the tournament. And now they might make a run, you know, because they got in. Everybody else had to fight to get in. Most of them didn't. I was hoping South Florida would make it, to be honest. I like South Florida. I don't know why. Definitely St. Thomas, but they're not eligible for like 2 more years because they just graduated from like Division 3. Oh man, don't worry about it. It's not homework. I think I did put my bracket up there that I did on USA Today though, so you can look at mine or make your own and then you know compare it to mine. See where we got differences. Some of them actually I would take back if I could. I don't know. I still think VCU is going to beat BYU. I really do. I don't think BYU has played like teams like VCU all season. They've had all those soft Western teams, man. I don't care what anybody says. Those teams in the West are soft compared to East teams. Like just look at the records. If we were to start making stats on the team from the East versus the team from the West, man, you're gonna find that they were losing to the East a lot. I mean, as a general observation. Duke could make the Final Four. You know, they've got two players out, right? What's his name? Cooper Flag, right? And then they've got another player that's already hit the transfer portal before the NCAA tournament, which I don't think makes any sense in the world. it's an argument against NIL money because if he doesn't want to play in the NCAA, he'd rather go get money somewhere else than play in the NCAA tournament. If I was the coach of the next team, I would wonder what player I was picking up, you know? Appreciate it, Louise. Ruiz. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, I love this live too. Definitely, we're doing things slow and old fashioned here. Besides the heat gun, this is similar to the coating I would put on a cutting board, except for I don't use linseed oil on cutting boards. I just use a beeswax olive oil mixture. Yeah, it smells like a candle because it's mostly beeswax. So it smells like an old-timey candle. And then I can still smell the oak too. So when it heats the oak wood up, it smells like it did when I was using the router and planing it, the router plane jig that we made. That smell is also coming out. So it's like a mixture of wax and oak. You know, kind of a pleasant combination of smells. If I was being true to the idea, then I would even do the bark, but I am not going to treat the bark. The bark is gonna protect it from leaching wood. That's one of the things that when you're curing wood, you want to make sure that you leave as much bark on it as possible, so it doesn't release the moisture too quickly. If you're curing your own wood, you know. So if you have a stump or if you have logs that you're curing, you cut a tree down, especially if they're in full logs, you want to spray paint the end of them, spray real thick with spray paint, like a thick spray paint, do a few coats of it, especially if you've got them as whole logs, and then leave the bark on. And the only way to make sure that the bark stays on is to harvest the trees in the winter. If you harvest the trees in the winter, the bark will remain. If you harvest the trees in the summer, the bark will slough off. I'm gonna put a little bit in here and just melt it. Hey chat, I'm here, Weez. You like that slough? Slough off. It's accepting a lot of oil, so obviously the grain is open to, and that's the way that these log cookies are, because the grain is so open, man. They're gonna take as much oil as you can give them, basically. Uh-oh, don't want fire. This is probably somewhat of a fire hazard too, so I don't want to recommend this to anybody. Do I have a riddle? Uh, I have a bunch of them. I'm summon a riddle that would be good. Uh, I mean, there's the classic one right here. What's black and white and red all over? Have you heard that one? That's like the entry level riddle. Oh, I've got one. Go ahead, Daniel. You do one, then I'll do one. Welcome to Dad's Workshop, where we are using a heat gun to melt beeswax and linseed oil that we're using to treat this stump. Which has solidified on me, so that's why I have to use the heat gun. Huh, it's everywhere.
Everywhere but nowhere, but always there. It just got quiet.
Huh. What's everywhere and nowhere, and it's always going to be there. It's everywhere and nowhere, but always going to be there. I don't know. I'm thinking like something related to time, like time or something like that. That's my guess. What's everywhere but nowhere, but always gonna be there. Oh man, I don't know. Everywhere but nowhere. Here. I'm gonna guess here. Everywhere but nowhere, but always gonna be there. I don't know. When you get in riddle mindset, you can do better with them. You have to have your brain like. What was what? I give up. I have no idea. What is everywhere and nowhere and always going to be there? Oh. He gets tired. What are we talking about? Welcome to Dad's Workshop. We are refurbishing this stump. Looks like my internet's gotten a little slow. Let me go and check that out real quick. Air, okay. Always gonna be there. All right, I got one for you. Here we go. You ready? If I have enough internet connection to tell a riddle, you know. Here's the riddle. And it involves a scenario. You're in the woods and it's freezing in the wintertime, and you stumble upon a cabin in the woods, a log cabin. You enter the log cabin and there is a fireplace. You have a fire, you walk in, there is a fireplace, there's a stack of lumber, there's some newspapers, there's some small sticks, And then you find one match. What do you light first? You're in the woods, it's freezing cold. You find a log cabin. You stumble into the log cabin. Inside the log cabin, there's no one there. You find a stack of lumber, a stack of wood, a pile of newspapers, some small sticks, and a match. What do you light first? Don't look it up. You're not allowed. I'll know if you cheated if you get it right. It's a fair guess, but no. Well, we'll say it's the nighttime. You are in the woods. You are freezing. You stumble upon a log cabin. It's empty. There's a stack of wood, a pile of newspapers, some sticks, and one match. What do you light first? Okay, Heather B. What do you think it is? Correct. Daniel says the match. The answer is correct. The match. You would think that's obvious, right? And actually, that's really important because if you light that match wrong, it doesn't matter what you do. So, focusing on lighting the match is actually, it's a relevant riddle, even though it seems ridiculous. So, Daniel, you win 50 brownie points for that. If I had merch, we'd probably send you some merch, but right now the merch would be coming out of my pocket. We're not merch level yet. Yes, the match is correct, Heather. I don't know. I'm quite sure, since you're an honest riddler, that you did not read Daniel's reply. And I do believe that you figured that out yourself, too, because you're smart. But, yeah, the match. There's one right here. I have one in the tip of my tongue, and I'm trying to remember. It's a good one. Haven't had a brownie. A regular brownie? You gonna put a brownie in your smoothie? Wait, what are we talking about? Are we talking about conventional edibles? Like I'm hearing gummies. I'm hearing brownies. Hope this doesn't set this cloth on fire. I'm gonna try to melt stuff out of the cloth. Hot potato. Man, that's starting to look good. Oh, oh yeah, nah, man. You know, you guys will be the first ones to get merch when the merch comes out. You know, my longtime loyal friends of the show, y'all will get merch. If I gave it to you now, it would be March merch, right? I should definitely. I mean, this is like 90% dudes that watch this channel, but I should definitely get like a shirt that says, like, "Daddy's girl," like for family members of and girlfriends, wives, daughters of people who watch the show. You know, I was just thinking that I'm already thinking of like side merch when I haven't thought of main merch. But yeah, I have like 90% male audience, so. What is it about like heat gunning a stump that women don't like? I mean, I don't understand. This is not like their idea of a good time. I don't understand. I thought this was women oriented. Yeah, daddy's favorite woodworker. Yeah, definitely. Like some onesies too that have some baby merch. Get the babies walking advertisements. You know. Man, it smells so good. I remember I built this table out of old oak beams and cutting it up, and it was heavy and annoying, but cutting it up and putting it together, that smell I really like. There's no doubt about it. There is something to that. It's aromatherapy. And now the stump is heated up, so I can almost use this like a little uh, bar and just like rub it on. Thanks, Ruiz. Appreciate it. I think it looks nice too. This is one that's been in the works for Miss Heather for a couple years. Like my son and I were working on it, and we've been wanting to put this together for her. I got to get one more hairpin leg, or I got to make my own table legs, which I'll do. But just with stump tables, it's just easier to pin on hairpin legs. You know, they look good. some spots I'm noticing that are a little drier, like in here. And this kind of coating here, this is not like a polyurethane, but it really does the same thing. It's going to waterproof it. It's going to protect it from, you know, actually from minor nicks and stuff too, because it's like wax. So it's wood likes wax, you know. If you can get the wax into the wood is going to look like it appreciates it. You know, it's going to have that character and figure that you want. My favorite, if I told you my favorite Star Wars character was Jar Jar Binks, would that be cool? Could we go with that? I mean, he's just my favorite, Jar Jar Binks, you know, from the best Star Wars movie. It's the best one out of all 20 of them. The one with Jar Jar Binks swimming down into the bottom of the ocean planet. Am I right? That's the best one, right? Jar Jar Binks. Now, if you use linseed oil and you get it on your rag and you're using any kind of a solvent, you want to dispose of your rag carefully, because allegedly, I've never had this happen, but linseed oil dries and can reach a very high temperature of several hundred degrees centigrade, and that can cause things to spontaneously combust. But just make sure that when you use whatever rag you use to apply linseed oil, especially if it has a solvent, that you get rid of it in a safe way after you're done. Do not lay them, do not stack up claws with linseed oil in them. I'm just telling you what I was told. I want to make sure everyone's safe. And anytime you use a solvent, you want to be careful of your hands. Those things can be very, very noxious and dangerous to the skin and to breathe. Well, I like Michelangelo because he's a party dude, you know? When I was 6, I had to get surgery. It was plastic surgery. It was a plastic surgeon, but they had to remove a growth from my arm, and I was terrified because they had to stick me with a needle 40 times and then cut this thing out of my arm. And all I wanted was a Ninja Turtle, man. And I know my dad tried. He tried to go to a store and get a Ninja Turtle for me, but every store he went to was sold out. That's what Ninja Turtles were like back in 1989. That dates me a little bit, doesn't it? Purple one's Donatello, yeah. Wow, looking good. Now this side looks a little patchy, so I'm gonna go over this a bit here. This could have to do with the fact that I hit it with the angle grinder today. So some of the wood is like exposed, is kind of new, and then some of the wood has aged a bit. If you felt this surface, the surface feels really nice now. Yeah, Robert G asked me how long this wood had aged, and this is aged 2 years. So I would say if you're going to do a stump table, make sure that your stump cures for. If you live in the north, it's going to be longer. If you live in the south, it's got to sit outside for at least like. If you cut it in the winter, it needs to sit outside for the whole summer. And be careful because it will crack down the middle. You see this little crack right here? I actually added a wood preservative to this stump called pentacryl, and that prevents it from drying too fast. It slows down the dry, but even with that, you see there's a hairline crack that formed here. So if you're going to put your stump out to cure, the best thing to actually do is like put it in a bag and burp the bag every couple of days. Like put sawdust in there with it so it slows its dry down. Or get this substance called pentacryl or wood juice. I'm not paid by the company, but I do vouch for the product. It's very good. I love my community. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Ruiz, man, I appreciate you so much. Thanks for keeping the chat hot, man. You definitely, y'all, you, Daniel, y'all deserve merch, man. As soon as we get it, you're going to be the first ones getting it, man. For sure. Y'all, and then, of course, Robert G pops in and appreciate him. Haint also. Haint, friend of the show. Uh, sometimes he comes, sometimes he doesn't, but he doesn't give up on the live, and I appreciate that. Hot potato. Once it starts to shine like that, that means that you've gotten to the point where the wood's not going to accept any more oil. That's what I'm taught. That's the way I was taught. Once you get to a point where it starts to slick on the surface, you've gotten to a point where the wood at today or right now cannot absorb any more oil. It's maxed out. These types of lateral cracks that are running through the wood, not desirable either, but it's really hard with stumps. They're one of the hardest pieces of wood to keep intact. That's why things aren't built out of stumps, I have done commissioned pieces before several times. Uh, I did the last commission piece I did was a bread box to replace a person's bread box that had been damaged and beaten up. I took the bread box and I made as close of a replica as I could to it. A bread box is a box that has like slats in it, so that when you cut the bread, you can cut the slices evenly, and the crumbs drop into the box. That's the last piece I made. I thought it was beautiful, you know, and the customer liked it. But this is the type of customer where they're gonna always ask for more, always ask. So when it was done, they wanted me to. It was too heavy, even though it was made out of cherry and walnut. It was too heavy because hers was made out of pine before, so it was light. I tried to make it out of really nice wood. That was a mistake. And then when I made it originally, she said she didn't want to see fasteners, so I had to go back and use a plug cutter and plug all the screw holes so they weren't visible. Because in the bread box, you definitely needed hardware. It wasn't like something I could do using just joinery. I also built a full-size bed before that on commission. And I'm trying to think of other things I built. I mean, those two are the ones. That's the last two I did. Actually, they were real close to each other during the pandemic. I sold a table, then I was asked to make a bed, and then I was asked to make a bread box. So all of that happened in quick succession. Yeah, do you smoke? Do you... Cigar boxes are, you find those. Those are done with like sliding dovetails and stuff. Thin stock. I probably wouldn't take a job like that. Too small. Just like the bread box, I think it was like $250 for it. I would never do that kind of work for $250 now. Like I wouldn't do that. And that's like what woodworkers take far too little for the jobs they do for the most part. They make terrible money. I love to do this for a live stream, but I would never do this for a living. It's not enough money for the work and the danger that you put yourself in. Woodworking, you lose fingers and appendages and get hurt and breathe stuff in. Aww, he said, so how much would it be for you guys to build a friendship on commission? So sweet. So sweet. I'm going to wrap it up here in a second, but I want to show you all the ladder that I've done. So you can see the ladder, in case you didn't see the short today. Because this is looking good to me, in my opinion. You know, if you like your piece, that's all that matters, right? Unless it's on commission for someone else. Appendages. Hopefully not the most important one, right? Am I right? Am I right? Oh, so now when it's time to wrap up, now people come in. Welcome to Dad's Workshop. Make sure that you subscribe, click that like button, click the bell for notifications, drop a comment, join the Discord, join the community. You're great, Dan, Ruiz, man. I appreciate you. Keep that chat flowing, man. Keep that chat flowing. I'm gonna have to hire you. Hype man, that's what I call you. Woodworking hype man. Yeah, I can't eat bread either. I have celiac disease, Daniel. So I can't eat like traditional bread either. So yeah, gravy unless it's made with non-wheat flour, because flour in the roux, that's the problem with gravy, you know. If you just arrived at Dad's Workshop, what I'm doing right now is I'm actually coating this stump in the beeswax and boiled linseed oil combination that solidifies really easily. So that's why I got the heat gun on it, so that I can melt it and it'll absorb into the surface. Seems like it may have gotten to a point where it's not going to take any more stain, any more oil. Seems like the heat gun helps it absorb too. I've never done this with wood and probably wouldn't recommend it, but I had kind of needed it. The color's evening out a little bit. It probably has to be sanded to get the color completely fluid on there. Yeah, no, it's not that it makes my tongue itch, man. It's that I have an autoimmune disease that's related to wheat, barley, and rye. So if I consume them, my body will react in a way that it's worse than gastrointestinal. I get terrible skin issues. You know, it's called DH. It's another part of this severe celiac disease that I have. Trust me, I love wheat and gluten and all of that stuff. I love it, but I can't eat it. It makes me very sick, and it can cause me to have small bowel cancer. So I had a gastroenterologist. He doubted me too until he did a biopsy and endoscopy, and he saw that I clearly had what they call celiac sprue, which is a shortening of the villi in the small intestines, a blunting of the villi. No, I can't have beer if it's made out of barley or wheat. The only kind of beer I can have is special beer that's made out of sorghum or whatever else they make it out. I think there's some buckwheat beer out there. Buckwheat is not really a wheat. It's a pseudo cereal. But I've never seen those. I've never found sorghum beer. So I don't know. I want to get this bark area just a little bit. So the bark absorbs a lot, so it'll dry out quick. Can't believe that dude sicked his dog on me, man. I cannot believe it, dude. I thought I was crazy. I was like, why are you thinking this? Nobody's gonna do that. Why would they do that? I can't get it out of my head. What kind of person do you have to be to do that? Well, if I did, I couldn't tell you that. It'd probably get me in trouble on here. But suffice to say, you know, everyone in the South pretty much has guns. So it's net neutral, right? If I did, let's say I did, for example, he does too. So we're talking about a firefight, and you know, who wants that? So that's why it was like that in the Old West, man. Everybody had a gun. So actually, in a lot of cases, that kept. I'm not saying that that's the answer, but like everybody had a gun. So it was how you shot the gun, not that you had a gun. And that's where we get, quick shot, quick draw people and, all of that stuff. Yeah. You are saying exactly what our first reaction was, but, again, if I do that, I start a war too, Everything I do that's overt like that starts a war. I got to be careful. I can't start a visible war like that, especially with somebody who lives 200 yards away from me because I want to be able to sleep at night. I'm not even worried about me so much, but the innocent people, like if my children are over here, I have to figure out something. I can't react like that. You have to be careful how you react to things. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, no, probably you're a veteran, so you probably are maybe one of the, I don't know, I forgot where you live, Ruiz, but you're probably one of the only people in your neighborhood who's, armed. I'm assuming you are. And so that gives you some peace of mind, but like down here, uh, you're not the only, like there, if you're armed, you're not the only person in your neighborhood who's armed. You got to assume everybody is. And people shoot their guns off so quickly here, man. You guys have probably heard them on my live stream before. Big guns, big gunshots, and this is not hunting. It's not hunting season. Yeah, so yeah, Texas, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Go down to Texas and start messing around. 5-year-olds got guns down there. Man, this looks really good. I'm really happy with this. Let's go to the range. Yeah, man, I'm really happy with how this looks. It's starting to look nice and coated. It feels like it's waterproof. I probably drop some water on it just to give it a shot, try it out. But yeah, that's looking good. Let's put that aside. Let me show you the ladder that I've been doing. So now we have our stump. We leveled it with our leveling jig. If you're interested in how I did that, watch my live stream from yesterday or my any number of my Google Shorts, or my not Google Shorts, my YouTube Shorts. I don't know where I got that from. Google Shorts started a new thing. All right. A lot of dust in the air in here for me band sawing and angle grinding. Yeah, so I was just telling Heather about quail and pheasant hunting, which is really now a manufactured way to hunt because most of the places where they quail and pheasant hunt, there's no actual quail and pheasants. You have to stock it. Yeah. I'm gonna take a quick water break real quick, and I'm gonna show you all this ladder. Oh yeah, hog hunting. So I want to do that too. Since I live in North Carolina, you can do that down here. But you know that hogs will kill you too. So if you don't hit them with the shot, and they have the, I don't know if you know this, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna get it from the camera and tell you. So hogs right here, wild hogs or hogs that were feral that have gone, or hogs that were domesticated that become feral, they grow in strange ways. For example, their tusks grow out like a wild boar, and they grow hair all over their bodies, and they get much bigger than domesticated hogs because they dominate each other, and they can eat anything in the wild. They're omnivores. Right in their rib cage area, this gristle forms, like humans don't have it. And if you don't hit that hog with just the right shot, it'll actually bounce off that gristle. So if you go hog hunting, you have to use a very, like a high caliber, long range type, like a 308 or something like that. Or you should have you should be bow hunting. You can get multiple shots off, but you got to hit them. You know, when you shoot for an animal, you're looking to hit them right behind that shoulder. But if you do that with a hog, a wild hog, sometimes it's going to bounce right off. So it is tricky. And if you irritate that hog, you know, they'll eat you too. I've heard of them being as big as 700 pounds. I don't know if you've heard that before. All right, let's talk about the ladder real quick since I got to stick around for a minute. Welcome to Dad's Workshop. Hopefully you could hear me. I was talking away from the microphone there when I was talking about hogs and the gristle that, you know, dogs do the same thing. It was only a couple of generations that, a generation or two that it took for dogs to look like a wolf to turn into basically a domesticated dog. Here's the ladder. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the guys that go hog hunting carry, you know, tactical rifles, assault rifles. You know, yeah. So this is the ladder, and if you check out the YouTube, my short that I made, I mean, I'm 220 pounds and it holds me. Put in place with dowels. So I cut mortise and tenons on the ends of these, but I also doweled them. Do you see the dowels coming out? You could probably watch my live to get, or not my live, my short to get an idea of exactly how I did it. It wasn't rocket science, but you see, because I don't cut very good mortise and tenon joints, you see there are, you see there's tenons here that go in, and then what I did when I had them in place is I used my Forstner bit and I drilled in through the side, and I really shoehorned in these 1/2-inch dowels in there. Everything's glued up too, so every part that's contacting is glued. Real important. Yes, that's why all my veteran friends refer to assault rifles as tactical rifles. So I wanted to make sure that I used the proper nomenclature as per I have been told. I'm not big on, I don't own any of those, so let's just say let's say I don't own any guns. We'll just put it like that for the live stream. Thank you. Appreciate that, Ruiz. Appreciate everybody being here. Yeah, it's like I could climb up there and sit on the top. Let me get my phone, which is actually dying now. That's how I know I have to wrap the live up. Whoops. This step is a little high for my sons, I can tell you that. Yep, it's a bunk bed, and I put a stump on the bottom of it too. You're a little too low to see my head, huh? Yeah, there's no, imagine this, there is no nails, screws, fasteners, pins, staples, or anything in this right now. I'm sitting on something that I put together with only wood, and I'm super proud of that. Yeah, I probably should do a handrail. My son that's going to sleep up here on the top, he's a very sound sleeper. He's still. So he's not going to fall off. But definitely when I make the one for my mom's house, it needs a guardrail so my little niece doesn't fall off of it. Right now it's a storage shelf. Yeah, it's a seat for me right now. I've been standing up for a long time. Yeah, I appreciate everybody. Man, sitting down feels nice. I feel like I've been on my feet for a long time. When you guys aren't here, I'm still like working on stuff, as you know. I'm always like trying to make sure my projects are ready. Dude, sorry, but lay across it. Okay. No homo, but I'm not trying to get canceled. I don't want to fall. My boards are not attached right now. If I lay and roll, I think I'll fall through because the boards will slide. Fall through on a live, man. That would be bad. There, is that good enough of a lay there for you? I can't lose my ladder. Otherwise, I'll have to go through the bunk. I am definitely proud of it, though. Only for you, Ruiz. I wouldn't do that for other people. I mean, I would do it for Daniel. All my regulars, all my friends of the program. I would definitely do that for you. I mean, I won't lay on a bed for you, you know, but I'll lay on this bed for you. I don't know what to say. I have to thank everybody here because no Diddy, because I didn't really think that I would be doing a YouTube live stream with any level of success, and I feel like you all have made it so that you facilitated my success. So I can't thank Daniel, Ruiz, Robert. Haint's not here, but Haint. Especially Daniel and Ruiz. You are the bricks that holds this live stream together. I really appreciate your regularity here and your interaction. I love you guys, man. I couldn't do this without you. So yeah, I'm willing to lay on the top bunk for you. And yeah, man, appreciate it. I love you guys too. I really do. One day we're gonna meet. All of us, we'll do something, you know, once the money is right and we can all like do a dad's workshop thing, and you guys will be the inner circle. You definitely will, no doubt about it. But I should probably wrap it up. Let me come down safely here without breaking my ladder, since it's not meant for adults really. So appreciate everybody coming today, hanging out while we worked on that stump. And I wanted to show you the ladder. I worked very hard on that ladder. Yeah, you know, I'm not in a rush to finish it, but you're right, it probably would have been done. And I wouldn't have done all the extra fancy stuff like the curves and the braces and stuff like that. I wouldn't have done all that. I do that because you guys make it possible for me to do that. And I can take my time and I can do stuff the old-fashioned way, where you take your time and do stuff slow. So for sure. Yeah, that would be a marathon live. Definitely something we need to consider. Man, for sure. All right, Daniel, Ruiz, everybody else, well, thank you. Dad's workshop is about to go offline because Dad is tired. And I appreciate all y'all. Love all y'all. Give somebody a hug for me. You know, don't get bit by any dogs. Don't let anybody sick dogs on you. And if they do, don't stand for it. Stand your ground. All right, folks. Love you all. Take care. Dad's Workshop out.